I am not a financial advisor. These videos are all meant for educational purposes only. All Complete Trader Academy videos are my personal opinion and perspective. Trading carries a high level of risk, and all results are your own responsibility. Please always demo first. Hey everybody, welcome back to CTA Review. Today is August 15th, Thursday, 2024. Hope you had a good day today. So, we did lean to the top side. And yesterday, if you watched yesterday's video, so it makes sense, I'm telling you, are you coming up to the top, the higher gap, or the gap below us, which is where price action was? And I was pretty much claiming here, from here to here. And sure enough, and I said, if you watch Asia and London, you'll see, even New York, pre-New York, you'll even see where we're heading. So what did we do? I'm going to go to the 15-minute here. We gapped down, and then we went above it, and we took out that high, the previous high, and then we made a new high. And then you got 3 drives down, all right, for a higher low. Where is that higher low? From there, which I know you're probably like, oh, that's equal lows, that's liquidity, we're gonna run it. But when it's bullish and it's moving, and today was a specific day, just like Tuesday. I mentioned also yesterday in the video that it could be a birdie day, it could be a floating day, and sure enough, that's what we got. And we would get some big movement because of the news today and them kind of holding price yesterday as a speaker. Today was going to be that movement where we're going to break out of that consolidation, right? So we don't really get reversals from consolidation. We get continuations, and this is pretty much what we got. If you did the projection from here to here, you'll see that the 101.5 is right here, and from swing low to swing high right there. And you'll see that from between 1 and 1.5, we do get a nice pullback. Let me actually move this. Let me fix this a little bit here. Price was just floating. So you'll see between 1 and 1.5 right here, we get some nice pullbacks. Doesn't do it justice. I'd rather go to the 1 minute. Let's go to 1 minute here. Yeah. So between 1 and 1.5 right here, you see this nice pullback here. And we push up, we get into the 1 and 1.5 to the left side of the chart. I want you to look at it while I'm doing this. And then you also, you get this pullback here. So nice opportunities to buy. And then sure enough, we're still sitting here above the 1.5, but I mean, the 2 to 2.5 is in cards. It's aligning pretty well with a previous week gap that's there, which is also going to be the high of that liquidity that's sitting there for this range. I'm pretty much going to delete this range. But in general speaking, I'm assuming that we're going to come and take that out. Also, yesterday, I forgot to mention a couple things, but if you take a look here, again, I don't use trend line theories or anything, but simple channel movement. If you take a look here, you'll see that like this channel right here, it was a couple of days ago, I was saying that it looks like we're widening. And that's kind of what I mean by, if you take a look here, we'll pop above, and then we'll literally retest that phantom trend line right there. See that? And then break out of that channel, right? And then, and we actually did that yesterday, but again, I can't remember everything to mention, but going to the top side, as you see, more of the imbalance of price is sitting there with that big bearish candle. And then the liquidity is obviously, this situation is, are we taking that out or not, right? But try to make this simple here. Give me 1 second. So if we take a look here, you'll see that we made the high and then the higher low. And the higher low consisted of 3 drives down. We get into that, we rest on that gap. Do you have these gaps in your chart, man? I mean, it's real simple. Gap rested on there, pushed up to the next gap, retraced back to the opening gap of today. And this is just a consolidation, it's accumulation, and then a manipulation down, and then the distribution up. It's a classic buy day, right? And that profile, what does that mean? Well, that profile means that when 830 shoots up, let me transfer it to the 1 minute real quick. When that pushes up, you can see it here very clear. Trying to be a part of that, it's impossible. But pushing up, right? Where are we going? We're going straight to that gap, and then from there beyond, all right? So it's a floating day, so constantly buying. Now, here's the thing. For me personally, when I wake up and I'm ready, I'm literally like not looking at the chart at 8:30. I'm not even looking at it. I'm still getting in my morning routine. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to be involved. I don't need to be involved. But when we were here at 9:30, I was like, man, I don't like this price action because yes, it does remind me of the Tuesday, and I'm gonna attack it in a sense. But the problem with Thursday being a floating day like this is that because it is now the possibly the high of the week. So Tuesday, and this is for your notes and learn from this video, is that when we have a floating day like Tuesday, cool, we consistently buy. We're buying the dips, so to speak, all of imbalances, liquidity raids, and so on. But today, you got to be much more cautious. And I tried to be, and I did, but I decided to let when I'm looking at this at 9:30. This to me, I didn't feel very comfortable being involved, even though that this was just buying a little dip here and sitting in this imbalance right here, which is the 928 candle. We're pretty much sitting in there with that gap. See that gap between 927 and 928? Look at the bodies right there. And I knew that. I didn't feel safe or comfortable participating, and I didn't. And I think that's a great quality to have and a great thing to do. You're not missing anything. So I decided to get more order flow. So boom, we get to push up, and then we get a retrace back. Now we get this retrace back into this last down candle, which is floating at 9:51 a.m. This down candle is technically going to be used as support. When you're saying, well, why didn't it come to this high and that gap? Well, because the algorithm isn't perfect. You're not going to get sometimes precision in what you like, and they also do this on purpose where they don't want anyone to get out, to get back in with a lower price, and it creates uncertainty and so on. And that's why I'm not looking for this low to get involved. I'm looking for, as we're continuing, I'm looking for support here through this. If it's going to keep buying, then this inversion imbalance is going to hold as support, which is this 1004. Sure enough, the price does, right? But at the same time, it's still respecting the imbalance right there. See that? So I need to get another push up, okay? And then I want to see it now then hold as support. If I drag this out, you can clearly see that. And then I want to use this next candle as support. Right, I want to see that hold as support. So with that logic, I'll go to the trade here. And then you'll see I get filled. This wick, this comes down right here. Why does it do that? I don't know. It retraces back into that imbalance. This is super, for me, this is like, I never would want to ever buy this high. But again, I know what time it is. I know exactly what day it is. I know we're coming up to possibly even take out the liquidity up top. But in general speaking, I'm looking to wipe out that imbalance of price and get above that, right? So with this understanding here, you can see we dip down with this little wick right there, right into there. And then by the time I get filled halfway. And I already know what time it is. We've already mitigated or retraced back. And all these candles in price action, there is no inefficiency here. There's no lack of price here except for right there. But again, that's a dangling carrot. So I know we're just ready to roll. And you could see the indicator here. You could see that we're sitting in above the 50% of the RSI right there. So in generally speaking, that's just high confluence for bullish movement. So get filled here, and then price takes off. Price takes off, retraces back into that candle that I was discussing, this last candle right here, as you see. And when it retraces, I'm not even worried about it because I know that it's a birdie and that it's gonna hold as support. And sure enough, I do get to see the top 50% is holding the price, and it's not even coming below. So that's why I've got, eventually I move mentally my stop loss right here, but I don't have to move it. I'm just doing it for aesthetics for the chart to show you how I held this position. But sure enough, that's a higher high and a higher low. Let's keep it simple. Then boom, price retraces, price moves up, right? makes a new high, retraces back into these last 3 down candles, drag that out, same specific level, and so on. We're carrying this. We're going with it. And at this point, I'm trying to get to the 1.5. This is really what I'm doing on the left side of the chart. So sure enough, this day sucked. I'll be honest with you, because of the fact that it was very stressful to hold this, because of the fact that number one, I don't buy at tops like that, but I understand what's going on. But number two, it could retrace at any time. Number three, it is what it is. I mean, natural. But I decided for breaking through here because lunchtime started and I was going to be done at lunch, and I should have been done. I should have took it out here. But I was like, I'm greedy. And then I had this imbalance sitting here. So this imbalance sitting right there. Let me drag that out just a little bit. See that imbalance right there? So I know the price is holding in it, right? And I didn't draw it out. I didn't need to, but it's sitting in there. And if it was to go any lower, I would have maybe reconsidered holding. But at the time for what I'm doing, I have equal highs here. See these equal highs right there? So I'm like, nah, that's another reason for me to keep holding this price, because these equal highs, I know we're going to rush it. Sure enough, they rushed it with this candle here. You see that? You see that? That candle rushed it. And then generally speaking, I'll get out on a second high. Third high preferably, but on a second high, because I don't expect it to sink from here. I expect them to because if anyone was trying to sell this right here, what they'll do is they'll come up one more time. So, nice exit way, and this is what it was. All right. And sure enough, I'm very, very proud of the day. And with the decisions I made, because of the fact that the decisions is all what trading is. I mean, the human can only make a certain amount of decisions a day. And, the more I realize that, the more I realize how exhausted I am in the rest of the day. But to be sharp and keeping the right decisions here, this is what it's all about. So the number one big decision I made, I felt, was waiting for order flow to pass this 930 price action, and then obviously 10 o'clock is really what I was waiting for, because obviously the new 4-hour 10 o'clock candle is going to be kicking in, and that's what this retracement was. This retracement was that new 10-hour. Let me go in here. As you see, this is the 10 o'clock candle right here, the first open of the 10 o'clock. So it retraced back, and it's just a wick. This is the open, this is the wick, and above it is the body. And that's why I'm holding all this, because I'm expecting this 4-hour candle right here that you see on the left side of the chart. I'm expecting that to expand, right? And that's the logic. So, but again, I was going to tell myself, just hold it for the top. We're going to go for it. But I was like, dude, it was moving way too slow. I definitely lost interest right here, which was 12.20 right there, that candle. I lost interest completely. And I normally would have took it out by 12, right? Or even earlier. Like I said, I was going to get out here. But because they created equal highs, I was like, no, we're going to hold that for a little bit. And then sure enough, we went up a couple times more here, right? So, and then sure enough, let's kind of fast forward on this, going sideways. They retraced back, took out some liquidity. And if you take a look at the 15-minute, this is very clear as well. I had a feeling that they were going to come down to here. And why did they come down here? If you take a look closer at this, let me zoom in the 15-minute for you. See, we have these 2 down candles here. We have an imbalance of price right there. And look at this candle, this 145. Doesn't have a wick on it. And look at the 130. Doesn't have a wick on it. Take a look where the price does come to. Now, it does not tap that bottom, but we did get into here. This is just a side note. It's nothing really that important. But, okay, so I just kind of sidetracked. But for fast forwarding, where do we go from here? So, I mean, this looks really bullish. If you take a look at, NVIDIA, I was mentioning about this gap here with the equal highs right here with the liquidity, and sure enough, we ran that. So up here, it would make sense for them to keep going. I mean, to be honest, it looks bullish. I mean, it doesn't, especially with this, with that phantom trend line and showing you that we broke out. It looks like we're breaking out. I mean, we're still going on the overbought, and they have room for that. I didn't expect an immediate reversal. But again, you would have known that through Asia and London, and you use that for your analysis. And sure enough, man, they're soaring. I mean, the price is going. Let me take a look at something else down here. The part that was conflicting for me today was that we had bonds coming down and we had yields going up, and and then dollars shooting up. So it was a very mixed market. And I'm glad I did what I did and got out. But you'll see here that we had lower lows here in Dow, and then we had higher lows here, and that was kind of like the catalyst to keep pushing me up, right? And then I eventually I'm using that to get in with this price action, right? So nice confirmation there for me, and that's I played it very very safe today, and we did a good job. So as far as look at Dow just straight up, man. Fuck, that's crazy. I mean, this is so ugly, dude. I mean, I don't know I don't know why people would want to trade this anymore. It's not the same. It's not the same. It has changed when I got out of it, and I was exhausted of it. But when I got away from it, but too suspect. Unless you're into anyway. So they're shooting up here, and this does not look bearish one bit. So yeah, that looked obvious yesterday too, but. I gave the market the benefit of the doubt, as you can see here, and it's a nice higher low, and they squeeze out liquidity. This looks more normal than what Nas did. I mean, Nas looked pretty bad because we're making these equal lows like this. Now, let me be clear. Is it possible that we do this still? Coming up to this here and then still coming down. Yes, in the historical data, it does show the 15-year doing this. It does show it doing this. It really does, right? It really does. So, who am I to say that can't happen? It can. It can. It looks like we're definitely looking for liquidity. I mean, this is in 2022 when we were coming down. We had market price action like this. We would speaker out like this, and then come above, and then come back down, and then come above. And if I'm looking at the historical data right now, it does show that we can do this still. It even shows this. I know this might sound, well, no, I'm gonna stick it with the month that we're in. Yeah, we're in. So it does show this. It does show this. It literally show. I can't make this shit up. It shows this right now. The 15-year data shows that we do come up right back to the high of August, and then come back down, wipe that out, and then retrace, and then fly back up. So I don't know what to say, but in general speaking, we might get a big surprise. We might get a big surprise at the end of this month, but it's got to happen now. Like for me, this has got to literally reverse now. Fine, if you want to take that out, fine. But after this, it's literally got to come back down hard. So that would convince me of getting to here, right? And let me see. Otherwise, speakering out here, from and this being the origin. This low and this high, I can see it. That's that low, this is that high. We come back down, and then we just speaker out. So I mean, that's why I say this month is ugly. But so far it's been decent. I ain't gonna lie. But let's see what else. Am I missing something here? I explained this whole movement. Still 19 minutes. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what else to say, but this was super, and then when this is pushing up like that with that 830, when it's just pushing up like that, don't fight it. Don't try to reverse sell, or, even when it gets to this gap, this is just, you want to just constantly realize that follow the order flow. when you get a pullback and it pushes back up again, just realize that that's your retracement. That's it. That's all you're getting, especially with Nas. You know, I mean, in the tech world, I think that it's still premature. I mean, in my opinion, I mean, yes, this is probably an AI bubble as well, but at the same time, with the amount of things that we haven't even implemented with AI still, and that can still go on like that, I think it's endless, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know. Is it 2000 all over again? I don't know. I don't know. I don't see it. But let's see. I feel like I'm missing something, dude. I'm always missing something, man. Um, if we look at the weekly chart right here, we're just hard, bro. That's pushing hard. Like Friday might not take out this high, and it just might retrace back into the range, right? And getting back into, let's see, does it come back to that data candle, this 8:30 data candle from today? I don't know, right? It makes sense, but maybe we won't. So I gotta play it smooth from here still. So yeah, I don't think there's anything else I'm missing. You guys take care and God bless.